Hey gang, number one Marmaduke fan here, and the theme of this video is there is no alternate comic that I don't recommend you buy, and every regret I have is that there are alternate comics that I have not bought. So, it came out on a Wednesday, number 4. I reviewed number 1, and I regret that I do not have number 2 and number 3, and every comic of every series Alterna has ever done, because it's $1 to $2 per comic, and the best thing I did all year was back their Indiegogo campaign, where I got 100 of these for $60 plus free shipping. About half were reprints, and that's perfect for me because I like to give them away. Like it'd be a good deal. It's a good deal even if you factor in the fact that a lot of them are duplicates, and then for them, the total is like 60 cents a comic when they do deals like this. I was also thinking about how I regret not supporting Alterna more when I realized this is season greetings. So this came out around December, right? Which meant I missed Alterna-miss. Why, oh why, did I not back Alterna-miss and get a whole bunch of comics to give away on Christmas? Why, oh why didn't I back Alternaween and get a whole bunch of Alterna comics to give away on Halloween? Alterna is the best. Now, I'll talk about a few stories in this. Maybe one theme is there are a couple stories that I don't know what's going on. I feel like I have to read your series to know what's going on. And I feel like an anthology story, I should always be able to understand what's going on. But most of these did a pretty good job. So let's flip through it. All right, so first we've got Attack of the Serpent Creeper, starring The Log from Legends of Log, created written by Ski Shuharsky, art by Bob Berry. There's actually this fun thing on Twitter where the issue after this, I've got it right here, actually. Peter put out an emergency notice that they didn't have cover art for this, so the artist Barry actually said, "Hey, I've got this lying around," and I kind of like got to watch in real time as that slot got filled. So this is just like a little adventure featuring the Log. I mean, it's like Groot, but not quite. It's only like Groot in the sense that he's a tree, but it's actually a lot more like old school Usagi Yojimbo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style comics. And I mentioned in my review of issue 1 why I like black and white comics, and why even if you do color, I don't think you should fight the black and white line work too much. You should, like Cher is creaking, you should respect the black and white artwork enough that can always be discernible. And no color should be too close to the value of the black. And just in case, this might have been like art speak, value refers to the lightness or darkness of a color. So hue is the color it actually is, yellow, purple, right? And purple is a darker value color. Yellow is a lighter value color. But you can lighten up purple and you can darken yellow. It's just they won't be quite as bright as they used to be. Anyway, so The Log, yeah, it's a fun old school black and white kind of indie vibe adventure story with a big tough log who protects the forest. And there's like a really cool fight scene. It kind of like it. When you read pure black and white comics, you read the line art. So you kind of like get into the rhythm of it, and then the black and the white composition almost, it's like composition becomes more important because it doesn't have color as an element anymore. So there's like one big scene where he cuts the evil monster with his axe and it kind of like blasts out beyond the border, right? And so that kind of thing works really well. A, based on the rhythm of what you're reading, and B, based on the fact that because it's black and white, so much emphasis is being put on it compositionally. I've already reviewed the actual Roger, and this is actually just the first few pages from it, so check out that review. It's one of my favorite comics of the year. A Mother's Devotion, written by Chris Charlton, artist Raoul Roque. This is what I'd call kind of the standard indie style. What's a standard indie style? I think the standard indie style is kind of a mix of cartoony and a mix of realistic, but not one particular thing is that distinct or stands out about it. And this is kind of like adequate, fun, solid indie style. There's a cool, creepy thing, twisteroo to it that I won't spoil. And there's some cool, I will, minor spoiler, there's some robots that show up, and it's a really cool, creepy robot design. So yeah, that was fun. I really, really like Spirit Child Lines of Morality. So written by Matthew Monteleone, art by Pedro Lajude. This is very much a Stan Sakai-esque kind of scrabbly, really strong cartooning, but then with some like sketchy details that give it some grunge and some texture, but still has kind of like a good fundamental cartoon style. underneath it. It kind of reminds me of that Samurai Jack episode where the hunters are chasing Jack and they decide that Jack is worthy prey, and it does this cool setup that these weasels are kind of like these alien spirit creatures from another world, and they possess the weasels, but then they have like the physical needs, like weasels need to eat. So now these alien creatures need to kind of like adjust to this new life. They've kind of become like distorted, almost like semi-humanoid. And I just thought it was like a sweet little, like this. So it's got the fundamental expression down, and then some like kind of over the top cartoony proportions, but then this kind of fun, grungy, consistent texture to look to it. I even appreciated how the background was very light gray, not black, so it wasn't burdensome, but it kind of put more pop on the drawings. I thought that was a clever little solution, and I ought to rip that off sometime. The Ray Dillon interview, he talks about his inspirations, McFarlane, Capullo, Jim Lee, Joe Mad, all these guys. He talks about his relationship with his wife, who worked on The Legend of Wonder Woman, and it was really kind of sweet getting to hear him talk about, like, working with someone, like his wife is very particular about artistic details, so even though they're husband and wife, that doesn't mean that she lets him off the hook on, skimping on the details. He talks about seeing his very first comic when he was a little kid, and he missed his sister, and then that comic really hit him hard, and it's like Wednesday Warrior makes this comment: once the comic bug bites, it never lets go. So what other projects have you worked on? And then they've done Peter Pan. The husband and wife combo have done Peter Pan. They've done The Last Unicorn. I will check that out. And they got a Patreon. I don't have a Patreon anymore. I have a Subscribe Star. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Subscribe Star. That's not the end of the review. So I really was interested by his concept art, where he hears the title, it came out on a Wednesday. He actually said it wrong in the interview. And he thought it came on a Wednesday. And he's got the aliens bursting through into a comic book shop, and they've got like some cool guns. It was sort of like he sort of honed in on this poster of just a monster bursting into the comic book shop with like a big hand. And then he really emphasized the hand in the second draft and the glass in the comics. And then he made the comment that he just wanted, like, because he thought of like 1950s creatures features, he wanted like a big pile of like eyes and teeth and tentacles, just a gross monstrosity. And I like how there's enough that you can kind of tell, okay, big eye, teeth, and then there's all the little eyes, but there's still enough for me to kind of like emphasize and to catch my eye. A lot of fun. Mr. Crip shows up again, an adorable little adventure, and Helgorithm is probably one of my favorites in the whole book. So Employee 2, Sabot Shark, written by Jeremy Ferretti, drawn by Sick Joe. So I'm guessing this means that there was an Employee 1 in a previous issue, but I completely understood everything. Great standalone little story, and it really twisted my expectations. So minor spoiler, I'm going to spoil like the very first couple of pages. Employee 2, whose name is Sabot Shark, first he seems evil, and he's like laughing maniacally. He's going to kill this woman. She's saying, "No, please, I have a son." And then he shoots her and he laughs, right? So I'm thinking, okay, now the son's going to get revenge on him. But it turns out he's a bounty hunter, and the mom was probably like some sort of evil murderer or something. So then he just pretty much explains, yeah, like, your mom wasn't a good person, kid. And he says, yeah, I know. And immediately some evil organization, like these weird order dudes, come after them, and they've got like some creepy evil wanted poster guy coming after them. What do I like about Sick Joe? Is it Sick Joe? Yeah, okay, so what I like about Sick Joe is even though he's taking away like the white gutters, which is usually something I like because it gives me a rest, for the most part, with a couple notable exceptions, he usually gives me some white where I can rest and relax. So like the face, the big gunshot, the steam coming out of the shark mouth, my eye gets a chance to rest. And compositionally, he's interested in kind of everything flowing together without the traditional panel layout. Like, we don't just have the squares, we might have like some squigglies, we might have the head bursting forth, but he's thinking about comic pages like big paintings where everything flows together nicely. I also like this alien design where it's vaguely like the Ridley Scott Alien franchise aliens, but it's not 100% that. It's got its own flair to it. And then this again, so 3 distinct panels, right? But then cool movement here, going down, big laser coming up and down here, laser point here coming straight down. There's a lot of interesting things happening in each section, and there's a lot of white helping me rest in each moment. You kind of do things like you go down here, and you come down here, and that deserves its own whole video. It takes way too much time to like talk about every little line and flow. But basically, the basic gist is he's really good at posing things so that they point you in this direction, and you don't get too lost. It's really busy. There's a lot going on, but he just keeps you moving through it throughout the whole thing. Now, one exception is this last page, where it's almost like his coloring style changed, and there's no white here where I can rest. And so this page feels burdensome. I don't know where to go, or I can't relax anywhere. Bill Watterson said it best: the eye being lazy is attracted to white. Give my eye a break. And he also seemed to change his coloring style a little bit throughout. So if he's red, white, and blue on page 1, okay, and kind of blue but with an orange explosion, blues and greens, purples, pinks, purples and pinks, and then neon green and blue and pink. I like that's like 3 different coloring styles right there. I don't know. So maybe this was the last page Sick Joe worked on, but excellent. I really liked the composition. I even liked kind of like the bright, vibrant color. Especially when there were moments for me to rest and have like, that's so calm. But not for like these maybe like overly intense, fauvish style colors. All right. I don't understand what's going on with the wicked and the righteous. There's people. They're fighting with each other. There's bad guys. I don't know what's going on. I guess I got to read the wicked righteous to know what's going on. So I guess a roast on that because I don't know what's going on. But I'm not going to review it since I have no clue. All right. It came out on a Wednesday. You should absolutely get this. It's $1.99. You should support Alterna the next time they do an Alternaween or an Alternamiss. I hope they do Indiegogos for every single holiday, so I can support Alterna throughout the year. Season's greetings, Merry Christmas here in the middle of the summer. I love Alterna Comics. I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, click the bell to receive notifications. Check out my Subscribe Star. You support this channel. Thank you, Super Chat donators. I love you guys. I'll catch you later.